Good afternoon, class. I am your teacher for today's math lesson. I am Teacher Cha. And before we start our discussion, let us have first a prayer. So, Julian, can you lead the prayer?
Yes po, ma'am. Dear God, bring me truth, your blessing and purity to the world. Subtract evil from all lives, multiply your good news, and divide your gifts and share them with others. Thank you, God. Amen.
Thank you, Julian. Now, when I call your name, you will say present, okay? Julian Baldosa. Present. Okay, very good. Shaira May Bergabera. Present po. Okay, very good. Micaela Joy Vergabera. Present. Okay, very good. So, we are now complete for today's lesson. So, before we start our discussion, let us first have a recap on our lesson yesterday. So, can anyone remember what was our lesson yesterday?
Teacher, our lesson yesterday is about parallel, intersecting, perpendicular lines.
Very good, Micaela. So, our lesson yesterday is about the three kinds of lines. So, to further elaborate, can you identify what lines represent in number 1?
Teacher, number 1 is letter C, intersecting lines.
So, let us see. Very good. Number 1 represents intersecting lines. How about in number 2? What lines it represent?
Teacher, number 2 is letter B, parallel lines.
So, let us see. Very good. Number 2 represents parallel lines. How about in number 3, the last one? Julian, can you answer what is number 3?
Teacher, yung natitira po, letter A, intersecting line.
Very good. So, the last one represents perpendicular lines. So, I just want you to take note of this following. So, intersecting lines is a lines that cross each other. So, makikita nyo, pa letter X yung itsura niya. And, nagtatama yung dalawang lines. While parallel lines is a lines that do not touch. They are always the same distance apart. So, dito naman is hindi nagtatama yung dalawang lines. Pero, magkasing laki at haba yung mga lines. While perpendicular lines is a lines that cross a right angles. So, dito naman makikita natin is pa-cross yung itsura niya. And nagtatama rin yung mga lines. Now, let's have our topic for today, which is translation of verbal expressions to mathematical symbols. And vice versa. So, in here, pag-aaralan natin kung paano i-translate yung verbal expressions to mathematical symbols and as well as mathematical symbols to verbal expressions. But before we start, first let us have an activity. So our activity is entitled Translate Me. So it says here that translate the following signs or symbols into words. So based on the picture, what signs or symbols it represents? So for number 1, who can answer?
It's no parking po.
So let us see. Very good, Micaela. Number 1 is the symbol of no parking. How about in number 2?
TikTok po.
So let us see. Very good. Number 2 is TikTok. How about in number 3?
Google Classroom po.
So let us see. Very good. Number 3 is Google Classroom. Now for number 4, who can answer?
No U-turn, ma'am.
So let us see. Very good. Number 4 is the symbol of no U-turn. How about in number 5, who can answer? Ma'am, parehas po sa EPP, 3 R's. So let us see. Very good. Number 5 is 3 R's. Now let's have our topic for today, which is again translation of verbal expressions through mathematical symbols. So to solve problem using algebra, we must first express the problem algebraically. But what is algebra? Algebra is a letters and other general symbols that are used to represent numbers and quantities in formulate and equations. So we have here examples. First one is 3x plus 4 is equal to 28. Another one is x plus 5y is equal to 15. And 30 divided by 3y is equal to 5. So these are the examples of algebra. However, on the right side, there is an example of not an algebra, which is 3 plus 12 is equal to 15 and 10 plus 25 is equal to 35. So based on the examples, what do you think is the difference of the examples in the right side and in the left side?
Yung algebra po, may letter at symbols kasama ng numbers.
Very good, Julian. An example of algebra shows that a number with a letters and symbols. So, an algebra is an equation which is yung number is may kasama letters or symbols. So, the next one is, to express a problem algebraically, we must scrutinize the wording of the problem to determine the variables and constants that are present and the relationship among them. So now, these are the parts of mathematical equation. So, before tayo mag-translate ng verbal expressions to mathematical symbols is kailangan malaman muna natin yung part ng mathematical equation for us to easily translate those words. So, the first one is coefficient. It is a number multiplied by a variable with a variable. So, ang coefficient is a number na kung saan kasama ng variable. So, ano naman yung variable? A variable is a symbol for a number that we don't know yet. It is usually a letter like X or Y. So, ang variable naman na kung saan laging kasama ni coefficient ay isang simbolo. It could be any kind of letter. But mostly, ang ginagamit is letter X or Y. And the last one is a constant. A number on its own together with variable is called constant. So, ang constant naman is a number na kung saan wala siyang kasamang variable or letters or symbol. So, to better understand these parts of mathematical equation, I will show you an example. So, this is an example of mathematical equation which is an algebra as well. Kasi makakita nyo naman dyan na may letters and symbols. So, our example here is 3x plus 4 is equal to 28. So, 3 stands for coefficient. It's because ito yung number na kung saan may kasama siyang variable, which is yung x. Yung x is a letter or a symbol, and yung plus sign naman is an operator. An operator can be multiplication, division, addition, or subtraction, or all we known as MDAS. However, yung 4 and 28 stands as a constants. It because sila naman yung number sa mathematical equation na kung saan walang kasamang variable or letter and symbols. And after knowing the parts of mathematical equation, then we must translate the verbal phrases and statements to algebraic expressions and equations and vice versa. Now, for you to better understand it, I have here another examples for us to answer. So, in first box, which is 8x plus 10 is equal to 40, 8 stands for
Coefficient.
So, let us see. Very good. 8 stands for coefficient. How about x?
Variable.
Very good, Julian. X stands for variable. How about the plus sign?
Operator.
So let us see. Very good. Plus sign is an operator. How about 10 and 40? What does it stands for?
Constant.
Let's see. Very good, Michaela. 10 and 4 is a constant because they doesn't have coefficient or letter or symbols. How about on second box? Number 3 stands for.
Coefficient.
So let us see. Very good, Chaira. It's coefficient. How about the letter X?
Variable.
Let us see. Very good, Julian. X is a variable. Then how about 5?
Coefficient.
So let us see. Very good. 5 is a coefficient. How about Y?
Variable.
Very good. It's a variable. How about the plus sign?
Operator.
Very good, Shaira. It's an operator. How about the last number?
Constant.
Let us see. Very good, Michaela. It's a constant. Are we clear now, students? Okay, now let's move forward. To help us translate verbal expressions to mathematics, we can use the following table as a mathematics dictionary. So this will be our guide for translating verbal expressions to mathematic expressions and vice versa. So always note the following. If the mathematical operation is addition, the word or phrase should be sum of, added to, increased by, more than, plus, and. Then, if it is in subtraction, the word or phrase should be difference, minus, subtracted from, decreased by, less, and less than. Then, if the operation is multiplication, the word or phrase should be product, the product of, multiplied by, and times. Then, if the operation is in division, the word or phrase should be quotient divided by or ratio. And then, if it is equal, the word or phrase should be equals, is equal to, is, the result is, and becomes. And in mathematics equation or the algebra, we uses variable or the symbol that can represent a number. So X or any symbol in word or phrase can be a number, an unknown quantity, an unknown, or a quantity. So this is a mathematics dictionary wherein we're going to use it as a guide for us to easily translate verbal expressions to mathematic symbols. So I want you to take note of it so that as we continue our discussion is makakasabay kayo. Is it clear, class? Okay, to further understand, here is our examples. Now, let's begin translating verbal expressions into mathematical symbols. So, the first thing that we can do is to scrutinize. Wording by wording is hahatiin natin ito para mas padali nating matranslate. For example, 6 more than a number. 6 more than a number. So, pag pinagsama-sama, our final answer is 6 plus x. So, makikita ninyo is hinati-hati muna natin ito word by word para mas madali nating matranslate. For example, here 6 is a number 6. More than, it means plus sign. And a number, it means any letter or symbol. Then, we can come up to an answer which is 6 plus x. Is it clear, class? Okay, another example. 7 times 2 more than a number is 21. So, isa-isahin ulit natin. 7 times 2 more than a number is 21. So our final answer is 7 open parenthesis 2 plus x close parenthesis is equal to 21. So in here, 7 is a number, times is multiplication, 2 is a number, more than is a plus sign, a number is a symbol or any letter, is equal, and 21 is a number. So, kung mapapansin ninyo, dun sa ating final answer is, yung times is nag-iba siya. Instead na dot o tuldok, naging close and open parenthesis yung ginamit natin. It's because dalawa yung operation before mag-equal. So, instead na yung tuldok na times, ang gagamitin natin sa ating final answer, ang gagamitin natin is yung close and open parenthesis para mahiwala yung dalawang operation na ginamit. Is it clear, class? Okay. So, let us have another example. So, in number 3, an unknown quantity less than 11 is equal to 5 less the unknown quantity. So, again, iisa-isahin natin yung pag-translate. So, an unknown quantity less than 11 is equal to 5 less the unknown quantity. So, pag pinagsama-sama natin, our final answer is x, or we can use any other letter, minus 11 is equal to 5 minus x. So, I hope for those 3 examples, we can now able to translate verbal expressions to mathematical symbols and vice versa. So, for you to test if talagang natutunan or naintindihan nyo ang ating lesson for today, let us try to answer this. So, letter A, it says that tell if it is mathematical symbol or verbal phrases. So, number 1 is 3y is equal to 5 plus 2y. Who can answer?
Mathematical symbols, ma'am.
So, let us see. Very good, Shaira. It's a mathematical symbol. How about in number 2? 1/2 of a number is 20. Who can answer?
Verbal phrases.
So let us see. Very good, Mikaela. It is verbal phrases. How about in number 3? X is equal to 8 plus 5. Who can answer?
Mathematical symbols.
Okay, let's see. Very good, Julian. It is mathematical symbol. So, diba, ito yung una nating ginagawa before tayo mag-translate to know if the given is mathematical expression or verbal phrases. Now, let's move on to another try. So, the instruction is translate the following verbal phrases to mathematical expression and vice versa. So, who can translate number 1, 9 more than a number?
9 plus x.
Okay, let's see. Very good, Mikay. 9 plus x or any letter. How about in number 2? Who can answer?
1/2 times a number is equals to 20.
Let us see. Very good, Shaira. And pwede rin nating i-consider 1/2 of or times a number is or equals to or the result becomes 20. Note that, class, okay? How about in number 3? Who wants to try?
A number is divided by 5.
Okay, let us see. Very good, Mikaela. A number is divided by 5. How about in number 4? Who wants to try? Okay, Julian, what's your answer? Letter X minus 8 po, ma'am. Okay, let us see. Very good, Julian. X minus 8. So, this is the second part. After we identify if it is mathematical symbols or verbal phrases, now we're going to translate it. So, now let's move on to the terms you have to remember. Let's try to answer the three questions. So, the first one is, what is verbal phrases and mathematical expressions? Based on your answer earlier on the part A of our recitation. Okay, Shaira, you want to say something?
Yung verbal phrases po is pasalita or true words, while yung mathematical symbols is pa-number na may kasamang letters.
Okay, thank you, Shaira. So, a verbal phrase is a mathematical statement that is expressed in words, while mathematical expression is a group or mathematical symbols that may include numbers, variables, and operators. So, to simplify, tama yung sinabi ni Shaira kanina, which is, yung mathematical expression is gumagamit ng symbols, numbers, and variables, and also operators. Samantalang yung verbal phrases from the word verbal, statement ang ginagamit neto or by words. And number 2 question is, how did you translate those verbal phrases to mathematical expression and vice versa? So, sinong may idea about dito?
Kailangan po isa-isahin yung words at number para po madali siyang i-translate.
Okay, thank you, Mikay. So, scrutinize the wording of the problem to determine the variables and constants that are present and the relationship among them. Then, we must translate the verbal phrases and statement to algebraic expressions and equations. So, tulad ng sinabi ni Mikaela, before tayo mag-translate is kailangan ini-scrutinize or hinahati-hati muna natin yung given word by word or symbols by symbols para mas madali natin itong ma-translate. And then sa tulong ng ating mathematical symbols ay mas madali nating ma-translate. Are we clear with that, class? So the third and last question is, why do you think it is important to know how to translate verbal phrases, and I forgot to write there, in mathematical symbols as well? Julian, do you want to try and say something about this?
Para po alam natin kung paano basahin yung mathematical symbols at kung paano ito ita-translate.
Okay, thank you. So for us to know how to read and write the mathematical symbols and sentences and vice versa. Because if alam natin kung paano ito i-translate properly, malaki rin ang tulong nito and magagamit din natin ito sa pang-araw-araw, right kids? For example, kapag tayo'y nag-spend ng money or when it comes to nasa labas tayo, nasa supermarket o bibili sa tindahan, kailangan alam natin kung ano yung equivalent na bilang no pera. So, these are our points to remember or the things na kailangan natin tandaan about this lesson. So, now, let's move on to our quiz. So, our quiz is equivalent to 10 points. So, ang nailagay ko lang dito is 5 points, but it is 10 points. So, it is times 2. So, the instruction is click the link given by the teacher. I will put the link here in our comment section. Then answer the following questions given there. Then I will give you 5 minutes to answer the quiz. So 5 minutes is more than enough or sobra pa para sagutan nyo ang quiz na ito. So wag magmadali, take your time. You can use our mathematics dictionary as a guide para mas madali ninyong ma-translate yung mga questions doon sa ating quiz. So, you just have to click the link, then magdadirect na kayo doon sa ating quiz. Then, doon sa mga naka-cellphone or naka-data ang gamit sa atin, you can leave the Gmeet or the Google Meet so that maka-answer kayo ng mas maayos. Then, bumalik na lamang kayo dito after ninyo magsagot ng quiz. So, your 5 minutes starts now. Good luck, students! Okay, welcome back, students. So, based on your you really understand our lesson for today. So, now let's move on to the last part of our discussion for today. So, now this is your assignment for tomorrow. So, review the mathematics table dictionary, and tomorrow we will have a short recitation about it. So, be ready because I'm going to give a set of mathematical equations, whether it is mathematical symbols or in verbal phrases. Then you're going to translate when I call your name. So be ready for that. So I want you to review that mathematical dictionary. Kasi if kaya natin, hindi tayo titingin sa ating mathematical dictionary, but we will answer or you will answer my question verbally when I call your name. So, is it clear for you? And kaya natin gagawin ito is gusto natin na matest yung inyong capability to translate those equation para mas maging bihasa kayo sa pagta-translate nito. So, I'm hoping that for tomorrow or by tomorrow is kakasunod ang lahat, okay? And I am hoping for everyone's participation dahil malaking part ito para sa inyo, which is recitation. So, before we end our discussion, so do you have any questions, clarification, or may naguguluhang part sa ating discussion for today?
Ma'am, done na po.
Wala po.
Wala po.
Okay, so wala na. So, I'll take it as you really understand our lesson for today. So, just always remember that translating verbal phrases is very important as it translates to mathematical symbols dahil na-apply natin ito sa pang-araw-araw. Mostly kapag tayo nasa supermarket or kung saan nag-spend tayo ng money. So, prepare for your assignment next week and we're going to have a recitation. So that's all for today's discussion. Goodbye, class!